What is up, guys? I'll explain to you in just a couple of seconds why I'm a few minutes late this morning. I think you guys deserve that much. But Kevin Durant, but Kyler Murray, the Shedeur Sanders, that saga is heating up via Adam Schefter. Let's talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth? Better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. The reason why I'm late this morning, if you can't tell, the landscapers are 4 seconds next to my house. So if you hear guys just blowing leaves everywhere, or honestly, that's just it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not so sure what the landscapers do here at my apartment, except for just move stuff around and make really loud noises. I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We got a lot of things to get into this morning, but let me try to hit something really quickly as I just to try to make it to where you're not hearing all that. So give me half a second here. Now, that is not good radio, as they would say in the industry. Anyways, guys, there's a lot of things to get into today. We have a jam-packed, awesome episode. It is all Arizona Cardinals based. There is no Phoenix Suns. There is no Arizona Diamondbacks. We are getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. And honestly, I don't want to talk anything about the Phoenix Suns this morning. The Phoenix Suns are an abomination, and if they don't care, I do not care. If you want your short Suns rant for the day, if they don't care, I don't care. If you watched that game last night because you are a freaking psycho and you just enjoy watching bad basketball every single day on demand, then that's your prerogative, man. And honestly, I respect it. You're someone that really loves this team. I'm not going after you. I'm going after the Suns for not giving you a better effort last night. However, what I will say is a really funny thing that happened last night for the 6 people in the chat this morning that are going to see this, that will not be posted later on in videos that I'll break out from the segment. Here's a funny story from last night. Kay Adams, if you guys didn't know, was obviously in attendance in the for the Phoenix Suns game last night. She's a very, very close with Kevin Durant. He is always on her show. And I went over to Kay Adams last night. And with these bigger folks in sports media, I oftentimes like to get a picture with them or say hello or whatever it is, right? Just very quickly. I do not like to bother people. I go up to Kay and I said, "Hey, Kay, Benjamin, nice to meet you. Can I just get a quick photo with you?" Try to stay out of her day, and it was very funny what had happened last night when I was talking to Kay. She goes, "Oh, what are you here for?" Being just nice, I think making conversation, nothing more than that. And I said, "Oh, here, I cover the team. I can't, just be on the court unless you're not covering the team." And she said, and she goes, "Wait a second, what's your name? You look familiar." And I was like, "I'm almost certain you have no idea who I am, but I think you're being nice, and that's great." I said, "Oh, I'm Benjamin. I work for Locked On Phoenix Suns." And as soon as I said Locked On, she goes, "Locked On?" And this was after we took a photo together, so maybe she wouldn't have taken a photo with me after this, although she was very nice. The wheels were turning in her head. And she goes, "Wait a second, you guys weren't really nice to Kevin Durant." And apparently she had been listening to our show in the preseason to kind of gear up for having Kevin Durant on her show, familiarize herself with the team. And then I think she had watched a couple of shows later on after that. And then she saw my clip that went viral where Kevin Durant, called me a clown and all that nonsense. And it was kind of fun to have Kay Adams, who listens to Locked On Phoenix Suns, kind of go after me for some of my Suns takes and defending her guy, Kevin Durant. She was nice about it, but I also think she was a little annoyed with me, which was kind of fun last night and kind of cool because, when those bigger people in sports media listen to stuff that you're on, you just think that is sometimes kind of cool. But that's a story last night that had happened with Kay Adams. And I apologize again, guys, for the noise this morning. Landscapers are right outside my door. But I thought I'd treat you guys to what was a very funny interaction with Kay Adams last night. What I thought was going to be a 4-second photo and move on was like a 5 to 7 minute interaction of her just going after me for my Kevin Durant takes, which was really cool. That's your son's conversation for the day. Let's move on to the Cardinals, the things you guys actually care about. There is some steam being picked up from Shedeur Sanders potentially going to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 16. And I really thought about if I was going to give this story any legs. But I believe I was the first one. You know, the one thing I think you guys have gotten on this show is I think I'm intuitive. I think I do come up with topics that other people don't come up with. And I think at least my thoughts, although sometimes outlandish, are interesting and do make you think, and that's what I want to do on this show. And also, I'm just very humble, as you can tell. But Adam Schefter the other day threw some gasoline on the Shedeur Sanders topic of him potentially going to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 16. And it is exactly what I said. I had someone come after me on TikTok, and I'll respond to people in comment sections. I will never get upset with anyone for coming after me. If I have a sports opinion, you are also allowed to have a sports opinion. I'm not above you, so I don't, But someone had said, weren't you the guy that was trying to replace Kyler Murray and Shedeur Sanders? I never said the Cardinals need to pick Shedeur Sanders over Kyler Murray. What I have said is if Shedeur Sanders is available at 16, and I said this almost a month ago, yes, if you are the Arizona Cardinals, you have to at least think about it. I apologize to every Cardinals fan, tongue-in-cheek, because I don't actually apologize for having a sports opinion, as a guy right next to the door decides he wants to just really blow that leaf blower all over right next to my house. But what I will say is, or right next to my apartment, but what I will say is I went on an AZ Sports Fan show, and I basically talked about my opinions on there and the Shedeur Sanders talk, and what I had said was this. It was never the Arizona Cardinals need to replace Kyler Murray with Shedeur Sanders. It was, if you're not thinking about it, then that is absolutely asinine. Kyler Murray has not given you a reason to be the Arizona Cardinals franchise quarterback for the next decade. He hasn't. I like Kyler Murray. I think he's a solid NFL quarterback. The days of him potentially being a top 5 guy are just out the window, and we're going to talk about why the Arizona Cardinals don't need to just go pass rusher with their first-round pick just to go pass rusher to appease you. But what I will say is when I read the quote from Adam Schefter, I say this is exactly what I was talking about. It's not me saying Shedeur Sanders is absolutely going to be an Arizona Cardinal. However, it is me saying you do have to at least think about it. We can't just push Kyler Murray onto this pedestal with 0 playoff wins, even though I like the guy too. I've got a Kyler Murray jersey hanging up. I'm looking at it right now. I don't hate Kyler. I want it to work out. The Cardinals would be better off picking someone to help elevate this team instead of wondering if they have the franchise quarterback. But what I will say is Kyler Murray has not given you a reason to take control of this Arizona Cardinals team. He has not. There is no world where you can talk about Kyler Murray grabbing this position by the throat and holding on to it. Every year it's the same thing. He does this, he does this, he does this, and then he kind of collapses. Now, I am not making the case that Shedeur Sanders has to be the Cardinals pick at 16. I am making the case that if the Cardinals aren't at least thinking about it, then that is a problem all on its own. That is, I think, malpractice. And here's what Adam Schefter said today on I believe, his podcast. Adam Schefter, on his own podcast, listed the Arizona Cardinals, listed a handful of wild card teams to watch when it comes to the Shedeur Sanders draft lottery. And he said on his own podcast, Schefter labeled the Cardinals as one of the handful of wild card teams to watch for Shedeur Sanders once the draft is underway. I'm not telling you they're doing it. We're talking and imagining. I don't think it's likely, but I'm not completely dismissing it. I don't think Arizona is likely. But there has been questions about Kyler Murray, Schefter said. There have been questions about the owner not being a huge fan of him, which we know that. What if all of a sudden they take Shedeur Sanders, and it puts them in a position where they can move on from Kyler Murray. For all the Arizona Cardinals fans, oh, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a Kyler Murray hater, which is just a bad argument to try to make if you're trying to defend Kyler. Or you're just a hater. No, I'm not. I don't care enough about anyone to hate them that much. But let's just call it what it is. The Cardinals are doing their due diligence. And no, Shedeur Sanders will likely not be the pick at 16. But if he rolls around at 16 and he's available, if you don't think Jonathan Gannon, Monty Ossenfort, and Michael Bidwell, for some reason Michael Bidwell is in this room, in this conversation, aren't saying, hey guys, what if we took this guy? I think both guys roughly have the same ceiling. I think Shedeur Sanders can be a top 10 guy in the league. He obviously has a good arm to him, accurate 70-plus percentage completion percentage with Colorado. But come on. He's got mobility in the pocket, 70-plus percentage at Colorado in terms of completion percentage. And we're just dismissing that? Not to mention, over all of that, you could move on from Kyler Murray's deal after a year, and then you have 4 years of paying Shedeur Sanders pennies to help elevate this team. Imagine having this much cap space every year. So the idea that it's just insane, you won't do it, you're making it up out of thin air, no, I'm not. And pat on the back for you guys for watching this show, and pat on the back for me for pointing this out a month ago. If this guy falls, I'm not just discounting him not being the Arizona Cardinals quarterback. Listen, I hope Kyler Murray figures it out. For everyone that calls me a hater for Kyler, again, for some odd reason, I went to Minnesota, I wore his jersey, I hope he succeeds. It's better for the Cardinals if he succeeds. Can we just be honest? Can we put the pom-poms down? At 16, if Shedeur Sanders is available, you're having the conversation. For all the reasons that I listed before. 70-plus completion percentage in college. Good mobility. Pretty accurate. Good arm. And he would cost you nothing for 5 years. You'd have the type of salary cap space you had this year. Every year, he's the Arizona Cardinals quarterback for the first 5 years. So just pushing that off to the side, I think is not fair, malpractice, and I honestly just think it's fanboy talking. It's not crazy to think that he could potentially be the Arizona Cardinals quarterback of the future. And Adam Schefter, just leaving it out there, says something. That has taken my belief that Shedeur Sanders will be the Arizona Cardinals quarterback from 10% to 20%. Now it's still 80-20. The Arizona Cardinals don't take him. In fact, if you're asking me, if the Cardinals could trade back because Shedeur Sanders was available, I actually would rather that, because then you get more picks, you're able to cash out on him, and it's not a great draft. You probably want more swings at the bat than you have. But to just act like you're not doing it, like, come on, guys. What are we doing? Like, put the pom-poms down. I know you like Kyler, and I know he's fun, and for 10 weeks, he's a pretty damn good quarterback every single year. But to just think it's not happening, dismissing it, is crazy. Shedeur Sanders was seen as the number one quarterback coming into this year. And I don't think he's going to be Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or insert elite level quarterback here, Joe Burrow. But I think he has the ceiling of a top 8 quarterback in the NFL. Probably the same as Kyler, but he's cheaper, he's younger, he's got the same mobility, good accuracy, probably the same amount of accuracy as Kyler Murray. And he took a Colorado team that was in the depths of Hades of college football and made them relevant. And I got to be honest with you, that's commendable. There are some things about Shedeur I do not like. I want him to be more, this sounds bad. No, it doesn't. I'm not leaning into that nonsense. I want him to be more of a leader. The same issues I have with Kyler. You go up to the podium, like at the NFL Draft Combine. I didn't like the guy showed up like it was like he already had the job, like he thought he was the best thing there. I don't like those attitude issues. Those are the things I worried about with Kyler. People think, I have a backwards hat on today. I wouldn't have a backwards hat on if I was going to a job interview. And that's effectively what the draft combine was. I didn't like any of that. I understand why teams are being turned off by Shedeur Sanders. And it's all things the Cardinals should take into account too. But just to dismiss it is absolute, complete, and utter nonsense, and you got to get it out of your brain. Shedeur Sanders could very much potentially be the pick at 16 for the Cardinals. Will it happen? Probably not. Could it? Maybe. Should they talk about it? Abso-freaking-lutely. All right. Getting hyped up today because the NFL draft is 3 weeks away. Just about 2 weeks away. Something like that. I mean, come on. Let's talk about this. The Arizona Cardinals do have the 16th overall pick in the draft. I didn't thank the people that are here this morning. I usually do that. My guys, Michael, Aaron, Ivan. I thought I saw someone, Spider in here as well. If I missed you, I apologize. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Join the army here, the Ben Garcia Show Army. I need to come up with a nickname for my listeners. I don't call you guys fans. I'm not cool enough to have fans, but my listeners. So maybe drop that in the comment section below. The Cardinals have the 16th overall pick in this draft, as I've mentioned 50 times. And what I think has gotten lost, and I've noticed this from other people whom I respect, tweeting this kind of stuff out. One guy that pops out to me right away is Jody Ayler, a mentor of mine, a guy that we both did Fox Sports 910 together before we got shown the stanky boot because they ran out of money there. Yesterday there was a mock draft. I believe it was not Todd McShay, but Mel Kiper Jr. I believe it was him. And he mocked Matthew Golden to the Arizona Cardinals. And I didn't love it. Probably because I'm more of a Tedero McMillan guy than I am a Golden guy. But at first you look at it and you say, I mean, come on, guys. Why aren't we just drafting a pass rusher? And then I thought about it, and I went against my own rule. The Cardinals already attacked the defensive line, especially in free agency. And you talk about the second year of Darius Robinson, who I watched in training camp from the sidelines with the rest of the media, and I'll do it again this year. He was an absolute menace. He was tearing guys up, and then he got injured. It happens. But you also forget about B.J. Ojulari. B.J. Ojulari, Darius Robinson, Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. You've got 5 guys effectively who either didn't play a full season, were injured, or are brand new to the team all together for them to transform this Cardinals defensive line. If you feel like you're a Cardinals GM, that being Monty Ossenfort, and you see some of the guys that are available to you, and you see a Tedero at McMillan, and you see a Shedeur Sanders, and you see a Matthew Golden, and you see a Will Johnson, but you really say to yourself, oh man, I've got to handcuff myself because the fan base, or we really need a pass rusher. What the Cardinals have done is give themselves real flexibility. They're not just taking a pass rusher to take a pass rusher. They have already effectively helped solve some of those issues at the pass rushing needs. Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, another year of B.J. Ojulari, Darius Robinson, Calais Campbell. This is a completely transformed new defensive line. Drafting another guy for the defensive line, I don't necessarily disagree with it. But just drafting another defensive lineman because you feel like you need to draft him, otherwise everyone's going to get pissed off at you, is again nonsense. Take the best player available or trade back. There are other teams who would want Matthew Golden. There are other teams that might want Tedero McMillan or Shedeur Sanders. You can trade back and still get a guy you like. And so when I see Cardinals fans moaning and groaning because it's not James Pierce or it's not, the kid from Mason Graham from Michigan, whoever it is, I get it. I want a pass rusher too. What I'm not going to do is take someone who's a pass rusher just because I feel like I have to. Take a guy who's lower on my board, on my big board of players, and take him rather than taking Will Johnson, Matthew Golden, Tedero McMillan, Shedeur Sanders. Any one of those guys, if they're available to the Cardinals and the Cardinals have a higher draft grade than they do on the 6th or 7th pass rusher, or maybe get someone in the 2nd round, then you should do that. Mistakes are made as a general manager. Mistakes are made as a team who do not go after the best players in the draft. If Will Johnson is available and James Pierce is available, I'm taking Will Johnson. I have seen the heights of what he could be in the NFL. And it's not like the Cardinals can't use another cornerback. And also, speaking of Kyler Murray, I'm not just discounting not taking Tedero McMillan or not taking Matthew Golden, and here's why. Kyler Murray, the only way you're going to win a Super Bowl with him is if you have a stacked deck. And that's nothing against Kyler. Brock Purdy went to the Super Bowl because he had a stacked deck. Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl because he has a stacked deck. Kyler Murray is in that tier. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not one of those elite level guys. Josh Allen. What he is a guy that needs a stacked deck to win a Super Bowl. And so if you have to go get Tedero McMillan to help bolster this offense, if you have to go get Kelvin Banks of Texas to go ahead and solidify this offensive line even further, I'm not against that. If you feel like Ashton Jeanty is the guy to pick at 16, who I don't agree with, I wouldn't do that because you can get running backs anywhere. But if you feel that's the best player on your board, make it happen. I'm not just picking a pass rusher just to pick a pass rusher. And it pisses me off people that have just tied the Cardinals' hands and have said, you need to go get this guy. It's not the way that you need to do business. Will Johnson, Matthew Golden, Tedero McMillan, Shedeur Sanders, these are all guys that should probably go sooner than where the Arizona Cardinals pick. But if they draft one of them, I'm not going to be pissed off about it. Because I like the ability of stacking the deck for Kyler Murray on offense, adding star after star after star, or helping out this defense and elevating the floor even more. Imagine this defense with Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, Budda Baker, and Jalen Thompson in the secondary. And again, with the pass rushers that you have, it's a whole new slew of guys. Dalvin Tomlinson, Darius Robinson, B.J. Ojulari, Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat. These are all new, injured, or guys who haven't played very long with the Cardinals. This is already a different level of Cardinals defense. And you could still take a pass rusher in the 2nd round, in the 3rd round. This is a deep pass rusher draft. Not super top heavy, but there's a lot of good players on this in this roster or in this draft. And so what we're doing is just tying the Cardinals' hands. I'm not about that. If they had Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, yes, I'd be the same way you guys are. I'd give Kyler Murray less help because I know he can carry them, and I do everything else to fix this team. But the Cardinals don't have that luxury. They're not in that position. If Matthew Golden's available, awesome. Make it happen. And you have a higher grade on him than you do Walter Nolan or someone else who falls to you, make it happen. But what I will say also, if I had a pick of this group of guys that seem to be falling down the draft order, it's Will Johnson. God, can you imagine what it would be to have 2 star-studded corners, Garrett Williams and Will Johnson? Will Johnson's been a shutdown guy who, that's a physical corner. I don't want to call him Patrick Surtain, but he does have the makeups of Patrick Surtain. You just look at he even wears the same number as Patrick Surtain. He's physical, and I want this Cardinals team to have an FU mentality defensively. And if that means taking Will Johnson over Walter Nolan because you have a better grade, make it effing happen. Let's not tie our hands, guys. Let's not do that. Now, if Monty Austin-Fort likes James Pierce, or he trades up for an Abdul Carter because he feels so strongly about those guys, that's what I'm okay with. What we're not doing is just taking guys to make you, the fans, feel better. Because those are the issues that we have had in the past. I am very firmly take the best effing player available, not the position you need. Because that's when mistakes are made. That's when you end up taking the fourth best pass rusher when Tedero McMillan was on the board, when Will Johnson was on the board. I mean, that's what happens. Then you become drafting Deuce Latui over Adrian Peterson. And guess what? If you ask me, it probably cost the Cardinals the Super Bowl. Don't do that again. Don't be stupid. Learn from your mistakes. And that's where I'm at. I don't even mean to have passion today, guys. I try to have passion every day. But listen, when we start at 7 instead of 6 a.m. because circumstances have changed, this is what happens. For the 9 of you in the chat that are here today, I'm here every day, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m., giving you the best Cardinals content. Let me stop right there. Giving you the best Arizona sports content in the world. Because not only am I a fan and I love this team, these teams, but I'm going to hold their asses accountable. Just like I last night, talking to Kay Adams, and she's letting me have it for some of my Kevin Durant takes. I don't care. I have an opinion. She's got an opinion. We both stand on business. And I appreciated it. I love that about some people. Just let me have it. I freaking love it. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I'm going to jump off here today for the day, guys. There are landscapers everywhere, and they're driving me crazy. Let me know what draft conversations you guys want to talk about. I've seen some discussions about you guys potentially wanting me to have a mock draft. Mock drafts are so interesting to me because anyone can do them. Anyone can go out there and read a bunch of mock drafts and just put them all together and call them theirs. I hate that. So if you guys want me to do a mock draft, I can do that. If you guys want me to do a mock draft that I think is going to happen or what I would do if I were those teams, we can do that as well. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. DM me. Tell me why you love me or tell me why you hate me. I have never went after a fan. Don't have fans, I have listeners. I've never went after a listener for disagreeing with my take. You want to DM me and tell me I'm an idiot or tell me you like the show? I love that. That's some standing on business stuff that I'm all good for. So appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 a.m., probably more like 7:05 a.m. Let's be honest. I'll probably be a couple of minutes late. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.